Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Judy, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very well.
Governor Claudette, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Very well.
Hey,
Excellent.
Claudette, how you doing?
Did he say Judy? And
That's
it's got
Judy,
married
girl.
on that. Okay.
Hey.
Okay. Let me see your face, girl.
Girl, look, I ain't letting you see this old nappy head. I get it all braided. Well, I guess it. Let me show you me right quick for everybody else get on real
Yeah,
quick.
No, no,
yeah.
you know this on YouTube Live. It's gonna be.
You break it up. Hey, there
I'm
you
showing you me
go.
for everybody else get on. Hey, girl.
All right. Yeah, Judy. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I miss
Thanks.
our sunrise services, girl.
I know. And some pictures came up on my camera today for
Mine
during.
too. Yes.
This must have been a date.
Yes. Yes.
Judy, I was telling you this is being recorded, so you ain't
Oh.
hiding from nobody.
Oh Lord. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, they ain't seeing no more. That little bit was enough.
Hey, look, you're a black queen. You're a black queen, and that's the bottom line. Can't nobody take that away. We beautiful inside and out. So that
That's
take
right.
that.
That's right.
You know. But no, I thank y'all for carving out this time. I every day, every after the summit for almost 30 years, I be relaxed because all the work, the 29 days before the summit, get to give that report and then just relax the shoulders and say, whew, all right, tomorrow we get started on a new one. But I thank y'all for taking time out to help us just articulate the vision to the world.
While I was preparing, you said, hold this on, and I'm going through some of my NBCU stuff. Can you see this card here? Women on Call for the National Block Club University. I don't know how long ago it was, but I was like, oh, you've done a lot over time. And I looked them up on the internet to see if they're still active, but I could not find them anymore. This was some time back. It was just women who
Really?
volunteered to help. Yeah, that's some other stuff out there.
Put that picture up
I'm
again,
about
Claudette. Put that up picture up again. Look at that.
Women on Call.
All right now.
Yeah.
Now that's a billionaire though, Claude. So I'm surprised they not around no more.
Well, they probably have moved on to something different. There were some variations on that name, but I couldn't really see, the entity that we were a part of.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we
Well,
definitely
things
gonna
change.
here it is. They still there. I see it.
What do they call women on call? I saw some
Oh
things there,
no,
but they
that's
weren't.
women with the call. Oh, you're right. That's women
Yeah,
with the call. Oh wow. I'm gonna
I
have to
went through
reach.
the
I'm gonna
whole
text her.
list and see.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it might have evolved into that
Okay.
Women for Harris too, Kamala Harris. That might have been the new group things. Women on call
I'm a
for
little
Kamala.
disappointed with that. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, thanks for alerting me of that. I thought they would be growing and getting stronger.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it did ask you, you guys know it asked you that you're gonna be on YouTube. They asked for the permission.
Oh, I saw something that I checked okay too. that was being recorded by a third party or something. Is that YouTube?
Yep, yep. That's it. Okay. Yeah. All right, cool beans. So we go rock and roll. Now, just for the audience who's watching for the first time, this is the National Block Club University's once a month meeting. We call it the summit because we're going to be talking about all 8 sectors or strike teams that we have. And the alphabets in front of it might be confusing, but it is P for last name starting with the alphabet P, Q for last name starting with the alphabet Q, and then R for the last name starting with the alphabet R. And what this does, this allows us to create predictability and reduce stress. And so instead of asking all of our people last names PQ and R to get on 12 national summits a year, it's been reduced to just twice a year. So every April and 6 months later, October, that's when we bug our people with that last name P, Q, or R. And as you can see here, graciously, we have our leader from the Woodlawn, Chicago neighborhood, Claudette, last name R, Reddick, who's on here. And she was on here 6 months ago in April. So she can close out this year knowing that she checked the box that we asked the PQ and R people to check. So thank you, Governor Claudette.
Thanks for allowing me the opportunity to serve. And it doesn't require all my time for serving, you know? I like that.
Now, do you, just so people, since we're talking about this twice a year concept, PQs and Rs, just from your own experience, have this been pressure to you, less pressure, more pressure? What do you think about that idea twice a year?
Well, it's meant less pressure for me in terms of just being attentive and focused on what's happening. I kind of miss more regular meetings when we were actually with people, when we got together. That matters to me, sociability. And so this is good. At least they make an effort to stay connected.
Two things with what you just said. The first one is the physical part. So we should be inside of South Shores Public Library. That's where we should be right now, because that's where the tour is in South Shore neighborhood. So we should be in person there. And I would be off to the side doing the Zoom for our global audience. But inside, it'll be you, Charles, and Deborah running the summit for Chicago. And that's how it should be. And now that I think we're stronger, you guys can start working on April's summit, so we'll have the physical place, and then the October summit. We got the dates already for next year. So that gives us a long time to get the physical place established so we can be in person, you know?
Yeah, the Coleman is already ready for us in April. So they won't have started their new building stuff yet. So I think we'll be
They're moving into a new building?
We got a multi-million-dollar grant to revitalize the Coleman. Now, when it's going to start, not certain. They talked about it, but it was approved last year, in the budget.
All right. I hope they don't get bougie and don't let us in like they were. So.
Well, I don't mind that as much as dumbing down the library. I look at that one on 79th and King Drive, and it's just a joke. It's like a kiddie library. I mean, where's the material for us and everything? And it's almost a holding place for the neighborhood. Just stop in and sit down. So
I'm glad you said that. That's the exact. When I looked at that, I said, this is like a warming center or a cooling center.
It is.
Yeah.
I was disappointed.
Yeah. And also we have superstar Judy on here. And Judy last name, we're going to go with her maiden last name, Pickens, because she's Greenfield as well. So we're going to go with the P, which have her on here. But she would have been on here anyway because she's doing some broader work for us with this campaign for 1,000 people. So Judy, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Now the beauty, Judy, I said, Judy, you don't have to get on at 4 o'clock. She said, listen, I'm getting on. I said, I ain't mad at you there, and that's cool. But I just want people to know we respect your time immensely here. So we want to make sure we carving out less time. So if you're on, it's because you want to be on, not because you feel pressure.
Most definitely. That's right.
Excellent. So let's get to it. So the agenda here, I'll be posting. I'm waiting on it to come through so I can post it, but I'm gonna read it to you guys. We always open up with the roll call so people know who we are expecting. Then we get into the good news, any good news you want to share that happened since the last summit a month ago. Then we go into our Mississippi report because that's a very, very important subject, is the state of Mississippi. Then we go into the 8 areas from safety to youth to economics to construction, education, health, food, policy, legal. Then we close it out with the summit, with the convention and next month's summit. So it's literally a action-packed 2 hours, you guys. So it goes by quick. People will be jumping on and jumping off. So that's what we're gonna do. Any thoughts before I do the roll call from anybody?
I'm good.
Excellent. All right. So 60612 zip code is the East Garfield Park community. That zip code leader last name begins with alphabet D, so we're not expecting Dickens on here. 60623 also on the west side is North Lawndale. That zip code governor is next month. Last name starts with S, so that's next month. 60624 last name leader is Brinson, so we're not expecting on today. 60639 is Taylor. So that's next month. We'll have that leader on. That's in the North Austin community. 60644 is in the South Austin community. And that leader, last name is Price. So we are expecting Price to be on, Jennifer Price. 60651, that last name is Jones. So that governor there, not expected to be on. So that covers the 6 zip codes or 6 neighborhoods of the west side of Chicago. Moving over to the south side of Chicago, we have zip code 60609. That's the New City neighborhood. That leader last name is Atwood, so not expected to be on. 60620, leader last name is Dominguez, not expected to be on, but here we have Judy, who's from that zip code, so she's representing for 60620 in lieu of the zip code leader. 60621 zip code, last name leader is Miller, the governor there, not expected to be on. 60623, which is the Marquette Park neighborhood. 60621 is Inglewood, just so you guys know. And 60620 is Auburn Gresham. Sorry about that. But 60629 is Marquette Park. That leader is coming on. She'll be coming on at 4 o'clock. Deborah Pryor, last name P, so she will be on. Moving over to 60636, that's the West Inglewood community. That leader last name is King, so not this month, not expected to be on. 60652, that leader is last name Corners, not expected to be on, and that's the Ashburn neighborhood. So that covers the south side west of the Dan Ryan Expressway. Now we come over east, and so on the east of Dan Ryan Expressway, 60615, that leader last name is Murrows, Governor Murrows. That's the Washington Park, High Park area, not expected to be on. 60612, leader last name is Barnes, not expected to be on. That's the Calumet Heights neighborhood. And 606 60628 is
You're freezing.
You're freezing up, Si.
Did I get 28 out before it froze?
I didn't hear it.
Okay, so 60628 is the Roseland community, and that's led by Charles Robinson,
Right.
last name R. So we expected him to be on at 4 o'clock. And then we had 60637 on right on time early. That's Governor Claudette Reddick, who's on here for the Woodlawn neighborhood that's experiencing major growth. They're going to have the Obama Library, so they're going through a lot of stuff over there. We want to hear about that. Then we have 60643. That's the Washington Heights community. That leader last name is Cheston, not expected to be on. South Shore is where we're at for this tour for this whole month. So we should physically be there. We didn't lock down the space. That's led by Rachel Lindsay, last name L. Theoretically, she should be on. But she was ideally, if we was physically there, she'd be there. I say it that way. But that's L is the last name. That was last month. And then the last one is Bronzeville. That's 60653 zip code. And that leader last name is Cross French. So majority of our leaders, if you notice, last names A through E. So that's where we had the most leaders at. But that's the roll call for the summit of PQs and Rs this October 26th. Any comments from anybody on the roll call?
No, I'm good.
Now,
trying to figure out how we can get more people to come on. They can't be in person. They got to come on these calls. And I
you
know you
know,
work on that
that's
time.
what the PQ. No, but the PQs and Rs are the ones that should really be on because you know how long we've been at this. That's the benefit of that. Now we're taking away 10 months and we only saying 2 months. So we hope people can do that. So, you know, every 6 months, that's two months out the year. So that I say it this way, it says something if we can't have a PQ and R from all 20 zip codes. It says something. And what it says isn't pretty. So I just say it that way. But we get better as we keep pressing
Yeah,
forward.
yeah, you've done well. I just think now that we've got this broken down into smaller groups, maybe we can target that marketing. Just call the PQRs. And I know you've done that in the past. And the thing is repetition. You got to keep calling
Repetition.
some folks.
But
Mhm.
I'm glad you brought that up because I have a list of 100 PQ and R people that this month that's what my job was literally. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I don't think we appreciate how important time is as a whole. As a whole, there's 86,400 seconds every day, and hour to hour, that's 3,600 seconds. So 60 seconds times 60 60 seconds times 60 seconds times 60 seconds for the minute, 1 minute is 36. So that's 3,600 seconds for 1 minute. So if you commit, I mean, for 1 hour. So if you commit that 1 hour to us, you're giving us 3,600 seconds. So that's like, that ain't no punk. You know what I mean? 3,600 seconds ain't no punk. But what we're saying is just do it twice a year. That's 7,200 seconds a year. Like out of 31.5 million seconds, just 7,200 seconds. That's all we ask for. So, I know what y'all think about that.
Using time as a value, and my people, I'm sorry to say, it's not a critical issue for us. I'm like, come on, wake up, y'all, let's do it. But when I see the lackadaisical attitude, the lateness is what I'm a timely person, and that lateness just kind of drives me crazy. I'm like, how are you going to move ahead and change things if you continue with those old patterns? But this is just a personal peeve of mine. Come on, y'all.
And I would say the reason why I'm saying that about time being so crucial, because y'all, we're an anti-violence organization. A split second time-wise, if you move to the left, that bullet misses you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Second, a split second, timing, just 1/4 of an inch
time
away.
Is wealth.
That second.
Yeah, time is life.
The time is crucial, and when you look at the conditions of our community, we just off. Our timing is off. We are active. We fighting in different arenas. Everyone doing their thing, but we haven't carved out the time to synchronize, to like line it up, because everybody is doing this, and we just haven't carved out the time to do this. And with this, we can get a lot more done. But we.
Well, you're working on it. You got a pattern for us. I mean, minute by minute, child.
You know I'm counting seconds, so yeah. So.
And how you doing aside, it reminds me back of the old concept of growing up in the 60s, the 50s, and the 70s with the village concept. The village was tough, and it was important, and we were all coordinated together, and we did a lot together as a village.
Yeah. I'm 49. I remember when TV went off 2 a.m. They had the black, white, red lines, the black lines across the TV. Y'all remember that?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
Yes, and playing the national anthem at night. Yeah.
So
And we had
the
we had the black and white TV with the rabbit ear antennas.
yeah.
And had the old foil on it to help keep the signal going.
The coat hanger, then the aluminum foil.
We had the coat hanger too.
Yeah, Mike Perkins, welcome, Mike Perkins.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing?
Hey Mike, haven't seen you in a while.
Hey. That's right.
Mike, you remember the last name solution, huh?
Last name solution. I got your
Yeah,
text.
Mike Perkins, y'all. Mike Perkins in the house. P, last name P. So thank you. But now I was saying about how critical time is because when you look at what we got to do as a whole, what's stopping us from lining up all of our nurses? It's timing. Like we got to say third Wednesday. If that's the time, now we just get agreement. Now we got our nurses together to work on our health agenda. What's the issue with getting all of our carpenters together? Time. What if we get them on the fourth Monday to agree to that time, and they can strategically talk about how to build, create jobs of the future? So I really believe, and I want people to hear this in the recording, that it's a timing issue with Black people. We are so active all over, but we haven't carved out the time to coordinate together. And I just think that's the missing element there. So while I get together, I'm gonna bring up the good news. If we could, Claudette, give us the update first on what you're seeing in 60637. Give us some good news too. So give us some good news of 37 in Woodline.
Okay, well, one of the goodest things I went to was the recent prayer breakfast for this election. It was at the Woodlawn Botanical Garden, right at 63rd and Stony Island across from Hyde Park Academy. And there were so many people that came out from all different walks of life. Many of them were for Kamala, but many were just trying to get the vote out and pushing civic education, which is a good thing. I think we need to focus more on that. People don't even know what is possible. So that was one of the best things. And then another good thing that I got was this apostolic church hosted a strategic plan for what we want as a people. And there were some very, very good speakers and points made there. And there is a final agenda that came out of that. So people have some options
Is
to know
that
what
Elder Lanyard?
Yes.
Is that Apostolic Church with Elder
That's
Lanyard?
their church. Yes, they did a good thing, man. I was so proud because my people, we stepping up and taking responsibility for the things we need to. And another thing that I think that's um, good for my community is that WVON TV. If you haven't downloaded that app, get it. It is straight Black history facts. Well, it's facts. And they've got some featured people on, like right now, we got the school board going on, the elections, and Stacey Davis Adams, the school board president, she breaks down and gives us a complete understanding of what all this turmoil is about. And I really appreciated that. So if you haven't downloaded WVON TV, do it. It got some great speakers, the history of Chicago, the clubs, our area town. And now this Thursday, I think they started on how the land got away from us and some very important pieces. So 60637, I've been hosting some watch parties just to get people out. Come see this. Do you know about this? And I've been happy with the results of that.
Now, what about the museum? Give us an update on the museum coming up over there. What are you seeing over there?
It's moving right along. They are, I think there were two other streets that were, alternate routes this past week as they were putting in some critical parts of the museum. But it is progressing on schedule. I haven't heard talk about over budgeting yet because they're working on it. But we're still got that expected opening date, 2026, I think it is. So.
And have you seen, because with Jules Osco being remodeled over there, like how has the zip code changed? How has Woodline changed in the last, let's just say, since before COVID?
Well, I wish Jules would go back to being like it was when they first opened, a wonderful, clean, happy store. And now it's slipping, and it's amazing to me that there are even more people using this store. The migrants, of course, were there, and they had these huge food stamp benefits, and Jules was the only store. So I think they got more police officers in that store now than they have clerks who are checking people out. Yeah, it's getting to be quite a big thing.
What
But,
about this university students are in there a lot? That's why they redid it for them mainly, right?
well, I don't know that they're the ones in there anymore. They are,
Mm.
the hospital people would come there. Um, University students were not, because the migrants now, like I said, they're in there in numbers. They got their phones up with the translation, telling the clerks, "Get me this" or whatever. And
Mm.
so, yeah, it's a different kind of store. Like I said, it's not as fresh and tidy as it had been. The neighborhood with the library, all I see is street changes. They're rerouting us. The compensation plan with the park for sports, that seems to always be busy. So I guess that is a good thing.
Where's that located?
Right at the 63rd and Stony thing, it goes east from Stony. I don't know how far east, but it's a
Okay.
bigger area than we've had in the past for sports. So I see the guys out there, track kind of thing, and they're playing.
So one more, Corey Brooks at O Block. Give us, because I don't know if you heard, but the rapper Lil Durk was
Yeah.
arrested in Florida trying to leave the country allegedly, and that's where he's from over there in that area that's in your zip code. To all of our youngsters that have watched this video, what's your vision? Like, what are you seeing over there around O Block?
I don't understand why we're going to have three brand new community centers over there between 61st and 65th and King Drive. And they keep telling me it's because of gang lines. This kid can't cross over to that area. And another one, I went to Corey Brooks. He had an open house kind of thing, which wasn't very informative. It was just the politicians filing through. I didn't find out anything new or especially useful for my community. But I keep my hand in and let them know I'm still here watching you all. And Andre Smith, he's a real product of Corey Brooks' group, if you will, and he's running for 6th District school board elected position. So I think he's going to get it this time.
Okay.
He's run for so many other elected offices, but we don't really have any competition for him over here.
Yeah. Well, as you guys can see, in 60637, there's a lot going on in that zip code. I'm gonna get a report for 60649 from an outside perspective, but the library, President Obama's presidential library, is bordering those two zip codes, 60637, 60649. And the reports I'm hearing all month long from South Shore is a lot of worry, a lot of concern about the pricing and being priced out. I personally felt like what the Chicago aldermen should have done is what they did in Atlanta, Georgia, when they started gentrifying the area around Vine City before they put the Mercedes-Benz Stadium there. They guaranteed for 10 to 15 years that those local residents' taxes are grandfathered. And I think they're pretty much telling you, year 16, you out of here. But that's
you got some time to plan.
Yeah, you get time to plan. You get your younger children in there, and they probably make them become person. So it just gives you grace because South Shore was worried about and what's already happening in terms of the pricing going up. And a lot of people who left the area in the 60s are coming back over there. They're seeing that. So South Shore has some trepidation on the housing front. They still got Terrortown over there where the killing, unfortunately, is still happening in that area there. So, but to me, investing in South Shore makes sense because it's going to come up. Food is not going to be tough. I would still invest in South Shore. Did you hear from anyone on the call?
You're breaking up again.
All right, good. So Mike Perkins, you mind giving us a little update, Mike? Because I don't know if I'm gonna have you for when we get down to the economic side. So you can go ahead and give us an update, what's coming up, and we'll go from there.
Well, I had an opportunity to come to the West Side Wednesday and your name came up a couple times. And as a matter of fact, while we're on the call right now, Joe Hawthorne just called me. I guess he's looking for a phone call from you or a link from you for
Yeah,
something. But
yeah.
anyway, we talked with Jerome on the West Side, and we're supposed to come back to the West Side next week on Wednesday and Thursday because we have some organizations there that's looking for some of the things that they came to the South Side that we were doing on the South Side. They said they were very impressed with those things, so they want us to bring them to the West Side. So we're going to be back over there on Wednesday and Thursday.
What are those things?
Yeah. What
Oh,
are
well,
those
right
things,
now,
buddy?
well, we're working with a program. There's an initiative that available in Illinois through the Inflation Reduction Act, and it's called Community Solar. So they're allowing people, whether you have LIHEAP, CETA, you got SSIs, Section 8, Medicaid, SNAP, you can get additional credits, discounts off on your electric bill, off due to solar credits. And so we're just making sure that people can be are aware of this because many people they aren't aware of it, you know. So plus they can also get additional discounts through through the supplier. So people are excited about that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to couple that with the initiative that you talked to me about, Si, with the dollar. So I'm gonna be. I'm glad you had this today because you're the first one to hear about what something I'm thinking about. You kind of kicked it off with my mind when you were talking about the NAACP and what you're doing with the dollar coming to NBCU. I'm gonna also be encouraging people to invest money into the credit union over there on 55th.
Yes.
But I'm looking
The
to have.
Southside Credit Union.
Yeah, the Southside Federal Credit Union. Yeah, what I'm looking to have is at least 10 to 12 churches and 10 to 12 non-for-profit organizations. I want to have a fundraising challenge where we're working together to see about saving money and then also contributing money at different levels. The first would be NBCU. The one challenge is going to be able to send that dollar over there. So when I get off the phone today, I'm going to work to start putting this together. And Jesse, I'm going to have a meeting with my team on Monday at 5 o'clock to put this to get some shared ideas. So we're looking for input from you, side. That's why we're coming to the
Yes.
West Side. We need your input on putting a lot of this together.
Well, Mike, the key, and for those who may not know, Mike Perkins and I have been working together a very long time. Mike is on the economic side. He is a network marketing guru in the South suburbs, and he's been committed to Chicago a long time. So every time we hear from Mike, if you go back to previous videos, he's always talking about how we can coordinate our dollars together. And so I wanted to give him the floor early before our time because I wanted to get it just in case he had to get off. But yeah, thanks, Mike. I'm going to circle back to that so I can talk about the NAACP too. I want to just come back up to the agenda here. I got it posted if you guys can see it.
Okay.
Yeah. Before we do that though, Judy, you got anything you want to put out there before I go through the agenda?
No, not today.
All right, excellent. All right, so as y'all can see, we are 3:33. We're a little bit behind here. We're gonna speed up with Mississippi first. So Mississippi is the blackest state in the United States of America. Percentage-wise, it's at 38%. The next census is coming up literally in 2030. So we are, 5 years away from the next census. Our goal is to get 5,000 Black people to move to Mississippi before that census is taken next year. And the reason for that, because if we can get to 40%, we will finally have a state where 4 out of 10 people looks like us. For anyone that hears that and say, why is that important? Because there are 7 states that's 90% white. 7 states, 90% white. So if it's not important, if you're questioning why Blacks should have a state 40%, what about those 7 states that's 90% white? So the point is, each state has 2 U.S. senators that get to go and fight for what that state says is important to them. So Mississippi, if it's at 40%, that gives us a great chance to have 2 Black senators coming out of the state of Mississippi. Why is that important? Because when you look at foreign policy, local policy, the Senate is where the power is. And the fact that we have 3 African-American senators, 2 Democrat, 1 Republican out of 100 is shameful. There should be 14 U.S. Black senators in this country. We have 3. So that's a problem. So Mississippi, from the rural report standpoint, is very important that we ask people, who do you know in Mississippi? So that way we can build that relationship with them. We have 82 counties in Mississippi. Out of the 82 counties, a lot of those are sometimes 80 and 90% Black.
Right.
But we don't see the power. Very poor. It's the poorest state in the union. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. So the point is, let's pour into this location that if we can get to 40%, we can do some things, because we need a sanctuary place in this country. Right now, Blacks have no sanctuary. We're stuck in cities that's controlled by states. Detroit, Michigan, a city, 80-some% Black, but it's inside the state of Michigan, 2 white senators. Because a city don't send the state senators. The state sends the senators up. So just because we are large numbers in these cities does not give us the power that we think we have. Any thoughts on that from you guys?
Well, we got confirmation we don't really have power when we look at how the migrants were thrust upon Black leaders in particular, especially targeted. You know, I'm like,
And that's economics big time, because just with anything, your soft landing go be in the poor areas. You know what I mean? Like, because those people don't have a voice. So it's like anything that comes, you got to decide which buses that's, might have some poorly maintained buses. You're not going to put them in the rich area, because those people are connected. You go put them poor buses, you know where. so
they'll just talk about it and do nothing. Yeah.
But you're not connected enough. So yeah. So I just want to make sure we know Bucksport, South Carolina is 99% Black. Sister Glenda Pink is down there. She has a Black store. So we support her. Her last name is P. Pink. So we checked in with her as well, because this is her month. And ideally in that town, which is close to Myrtle Beach, which I think Black people should go to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for vacation. That place can easily be supported overwhelmingly by our network, 20 cities supporting them. And so Bucksport, that's one place. Coalfield, North Carolina, that's another 100% Black town, small town. And then we have in Mississippi, we have about nine different small cities, little towns, that's almost 100% Black. Mount Bayou, Mississippi is 100% Black. So when we talk about we don't have power, where do we have numbers at? And when I say Mount Bayou, we got the numbers. The numbers are there in Mount Bayou. For 136 years, it's been all Black government. So that's numbers. Now we just got to give them the support so they can really rise up. Okay, so now we go switch over here. Unfortunately, I'm gonna read to you guys the violence. It's I see us getting numb to it, and that's a danger all by itself. When you have so much killing that people like, and we got the sheets of people who've been shot, killed, stabbed, and raped, and we're keeping it because of what we're working on. But now when people see it, they're like, yep, and it is nowhere near the emotion that it used to be. Are y'all picking that up from out there being in the streets as well?
Well, I am. I'm alarmed, to say the least, that so much is happening, and we're not doing anything, even with the pictures of these criminals. We still, continue pretty much the same pathway. I don't see CTA operating any differently. I've got a nephew. He's a drunk and stuff, but he doesn't bother anybody. He's been beaten up and hospitalized 3 times on that red line. And I'm like, my gosh, and the police just go, well, go down and file a report, and that's it. Nothing ever comes of that. And I know they must have cameras at the gates and stuff like this, but nobody really follows up.
Yeah. And I think part of it is the state's attorney race is getting ready to conclude. You guys are voting for that right now, and no matter which of those two that's running, there's three running, but those two, they both are promising more enforcement, and they both are non-black. So I can believe them that they're gonna do more enforcement. I'm personally not as opposed to it because I do talk to my young people, and some of them do have a mindset of not giving an F. And when you get to that place, sometimes involuntary detention is necessary to get your mind right, to make you know that you're not as powerful as you think you are. Someone can control your time. So I think that's gonna come. I'm gonna read to you guys what we logged in, unfortunately, from the violence end. So I want to pull up. This is nationwide. So in Philadelphia, they've been shooting on the bus, shooting on they're called the 16-year-old, 15-year-old shot on the bus. They had 3 mass shootings in the last quarter. Milwaukee, 27-year-old man shot downtown. 29-year-old man shot the guy trying to rob him. That was at 1 in the morning on 30th and Center. Miami, double shooting, 1 killed. This is all October so far. DC man shot to death on the southwest side. All of these are black neighborhoods. In Boston, man shot 944 on Broadway. We won't get to Chicago. Oh my goodness. Y'all know we unfortunately leads the pack. 70th and South Shore, man shot. 53-year-old man shot. He shot the robber that tried to rob him. 55th and Low, we had the 4-year-old child missing, the little boy. We haven't heard back if they found him yet. Last name Bates. 17-year-old boy, he was shot to death by a 51-year-old trying to rob him. So I have noticed that it's been more robbers getting shot and sometimes killed trying to rob people because people are now packing their own protection. So, you know, if you go be doing that, you got to be careful. Everyone's not going to be your victim.
Also on 82nd and Ashton, they had a carjacking, and on the west side, the police officer shot the young man, a 16-year-old, in his knee and somewhere else on his body, shot him 2 times. The other ones got away, but he did get one of them. It's just ridiculous between the carjackings, and then they had a Lyft driver the other day. They carjacked him on just the other day, and they found his car on 92nd and Blackstone, or 92nd and Greenwood, or whatever it was. Yeah.
They got one of those teenagers arrested though, and hopefully he'll tell who his accomplice was. Yeah. So our solution, just, you know, you guys shoot holes through it, is HSN. HSN stands for Habits, Schedule, Network. HSN is a lifestyle. And when you look at what's being proposed now across Black America, they're proposing putting more violence responders out there. And the challenge with that is you can't be everywhere. They can put the National Guard out there. They can't be everywhere. What we're dealing with is a lifestyle, a values issue with how I use my time. That's your schedule. Who's in my network? That's your gang, your boys. And then, of course, what do you do without thinking about it? Habits. So the benefit of what we bring to the table is that stability of the 7 daily living habits. Talking about loving on your grandmama on Friday. Talking about making sure you're traveling and doing something fun on Saturday, Youth Day. Making sure that we're not spending money with people who don't care about us Wednesday. These are habits that once we get it rotating around enough, it'll be second nature. And what that does, it gives us some stability. Because what we're dealing with now is it's just so destabilized that it's all over the place. And then the scheduling part, again, if you have nothing to do, you don't have
all day, all night.
All day, all night. You ain't got to get up
early. Hanging out.
So you can hang out. Exactly. So again, schedule. Like the benefit of this structure is we count seconds. So we got stuff for you to do all the seconds. It's a matter of if we have the funding to put you into that travel and pay you. And then the last one is the network. That's who we are. We're a network on steroids, from carpenter, bricklayers, nurses, teachers, senior citizens, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. We have a list for almost every type of person. And so we want to share that list with all of our people so that your network is stronger. That you can pick up the phone and call a carpenter. You can pick up the phone and call a retired teacher. That's the network we have that we're trying to share with you. So that way your lifestyle can be different because of your habits, schedule, and network. Any shoe holes through that? Anybody got anything to counter that with?
Not counter it, compliment. I'm taking this very 7-day agenda, the daily
Mhm.
living habits with me to Vegas. I leave Tuesday and I'm going to be gone for a few months.
Yeah,
But I
good.
see such an opportunity with these young people who are just unsupervised there. Their parents are working all the time, so they have a lot of
Yeah.
time to get into something that's not necessarily good. And so
Yep.
I'm going to be working a little after school kind of program I'm setting up,
Yep.
2 to 6 or something, a few days a week. And we're going to take the daily living habits, and those are our
Mm,
topics, subject topics. And we're going to work
yeah.
that out. What does that mean for you? And I'm
And,
hoping
and
to impart some of that order and the awareness that Black people can do things successfully together.
yes, I love it. I love
Hmm.
it. Yes, yes, indeed. And I think the best part is portable. You just said it. You're taking it with you. Like the values can go wherever you go. When you look in the mirror, it could be your values right there with
I got a suitcase with books and papers and things that we've done in the past. So I got
you.
my curriculum already set up. But, like I said, with the time that I'm going to be there, I hope to foremost impact my little grandchildren. They're so young, but they can see it. They like the older kids, and the older kids come and flock because here's an adult just sitting there wanting to talk with them. So
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
We because youth is a part of this segment here. This country, unfortunately, heavily invests in early childhood, kindergarten, daycare. We put funds all over for those areas. We also invest in our senior citizens, from housing to food and all of that. The group that needs our help the most, because they're first beginning a lot of first times, leaving home without their parents, first time dating, first time experimenting with drugs. Those teenage years between 13 and 18 are most.
Crucial.
You breaking
Sorry
up.
about that. No, can y'all hear me now?
No,
Can y'all hear me? Did I lose you guys?
You're
there you
breaking
are.
up. There you are.
All right. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. But yeah, those teenage years, this country don't pour a lot of money into. And that's one of the big challenges, because that's when they're going to experiment with sex, drugs, and all this other stuff. And that's where what we're doing matters so much, because we're talking about travel, going different places, meeting different people in the lane that you care about. You know what I mean? Meeting the people that's in technology, meeting the people that's in nursing, that's in carpentry. And we got to pour that into them during those adolescent years. And so I think we got to do a better job. That Saturday Youth Day is important, because that's a travel opportunity to build their confidence when they get away from their family and friends. All right. The entertainment conspiracy. So we know what's happening here. They got Puff Daddy locked up right now. They have Lil Durk locked up right now. These are some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry. Those are two black people. If you do the crime, you got to do the time. That's anybody. But what we don't see is who's orchestrating, who's putting this thing together, who's behind the scenes that we don't see, the hidden hand. And I just want to make sure that we black people front is people behind the scenes who don't have the talent, who don't have nothing to sing and rap about, but they control the network, they control the distribution, and those are the ones that a lot of times encourage the worst of us to be displayed. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Now I like what the mayor said yesterday about Little Dirt. They said, "Well, what are you going to do with the $150,000 he donated to your campaign?" He told him, "I'm not going to persecute that young man, because he hasn't even went to trial yet." So who am I to
Right, right.
persecute him? You know what I'm saying? And I liked him speaking up in that forum for
Like
that.
that. Me too.
Because my thing is the pink people, as Sister Terry say, do it all the time and get away with it. Nothing said and done. They get away with it. But like I said, they're bringing us to the forefront. And then maybe Diddley might speak up. Maybe that's why Abercrombie got caught. I mean, I don't know. But they need to be caught to the front part like they try to do us all the time and
Yeah.
held
Is that what's
accountable.
going to happen to me when I get super rich? I'm just going to go into debauchery and sex and craziness
Yeah.
because I ain't got nothing else to
Now,
do.
when
And everybody black is not doing that stuff. And they want to persecute the black man, but the pink people have been doing it all along.
well, that's why I said the people who create stuff, they're
Well, I think
creating
you're
this
on
Right.
from
point,
their
Si.
experience or what they perceive. Huh?
I said I mean, you're on point because a lot of this.
What was that?
I said you're on point. I believe because a lot of this comes from high up, large corporations, Viacom. You got the other video production companies. They sponsor a lot of these things
Yep.
that create this school to prison
Yep.
pipeline, and it's even backed up by some of the
Yes.
large investment companies. You look at
Yeah.
Vanguard and BlackRock, and who they invest their money in, and who's producing this, and who controls the entertainment industry.
Yep.
Okay, and then when you don't do what
And,
they
and, and and insurance, Mike, they take out insurance on them. So when they die, a lot of them getting paid millions from the artists insuring their project, right?
right. They call it, they got BOLI, bank owned life insurance. They taking out insurance policies on it. It's just so much stuff that's going on behind the scenes. And and this Abercrombie thing, I don't know what's behind that. Because I mean it could be more than what we even know.
Well, we do
Gotta
know that
be.
they believe
Ain't know it all.
minors is fair game. We know that the founders that they believe in the pedophilia and that they the age of consent is a problem. So that's, you can Google that and look that up yourself and you will see that. So there's some sick spirits.
Boys. Yeah.
They got money. People look the other way and say, oh well, they famous, so it might be okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like something I don't understand. Like even with Epstein, like Epstein, he had all these people that was in on that with him. Next thing you know, this man dead.
Yeah.
It's just like so much going on.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
killed him because he knew too much. He knew too many people, and the higher uppers that was going to get involved. So they killed him.
And I ain't heard
And
no, I heard no more investigation about none of it. He just
and,
dead,
and,
and,
and
and case
that's
closed.
where both political parties should be speaking about releasing those names. We should know
Mhm.
who's.
Uh, well, it's probably them. If I were invited to P. Diddy's party or Epstein, I would go just to see what in the world they doing, what they got up in there. So there are probably too many names to be revealed, even just on a casual look see. I don't think they should release all those names personally.
Yeah, well, the beauty is technology is allowing us to not be dependent on the same gatekeeper network. So that's the beauty. They can't
Right.
hide what they used to hide no more.
Right.
So
And then like we said yesterday on our seniors call, remember we were talking about the fact that J-Lo, they had some pictures with J-Lo in the bed with P. Diddy and whatever. But like you said, she's the
The
queen or whatever. So they
boyfriend.
kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, put us to the side, hush hush with her. But I mean, it's a whole lot of big wheel people up in there.
yeah, so they time coming, and what you do, you got to pay for it, and that's the thing. Even with some of our artists, if you know you shot someone, you had someone shot, please know that justice is coming. It's just a matter of when. So I would just get it over with, turn yourself in, serve your time, because just out here playing like it might not come up, you're fooling yourself. That's what I would say to all the artists who's out here, knowing what you're doing and knowing there's people who want justice. These family members who loved ones been killed, they're not gonna just because you famous
Let it
sit by
go.
and
Yeah.
let you get away killing their loved ones. So all right.
I was wondering, did they ever
of
get
all
that guy
persons
that,
of Black women. FBI.
pardon?
No, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering that $10,000 reward that Corey Brooks offered for whoever shot his godson. I'm wondering, was that criminal ever captured or whatever? I don't know. Anybody? That's about the
Let me
highest
make a note of
amount of
that.
money.
I
Yeah,
hadn't
ten
heard anything.
thousand dollars.
I hadn't heard anything about that. What about that this recent young black man, 25 years old, that found he tracked his phone to Calumet Park, found him dead in the park, been shot 5 times.
Mm,
It's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they're so
and,
young. That's what I'm like.
and
How
I
could you
think
be killing somebody at 14, 15?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, those 2 young
no,
men that they
but
were
the
running from the state
song that's
police.
being
They,
encouraged.
they were running from the state police the other day and
Hmm.
ran into the building there at 75th and Vincent. They were 14 and 13 years old. Now, where your parents at 2 o'clock in the morning? What you doing outside driving a stolen car?
But and I guess
You
we don't even
breaking
have
up,
to
side.
ask that question.
Yep.
Can you? What about now?
Now I can hear you.
We shouldn't have to ask that question because we know that there's a breakdown at home. So the next question is the village strong enough to fill in the gap?
No.
If you allow a village in to help fill the gap. Some of
But
these parents, they know their kids are doing stuff and bringing stuff. It's no way my child could have brought anything home that I know that I didn't buy into my house. Because ain't no way no stolen bikes, all this different stuff coming up, and you didn't buy it. So where's it coming from? So are you a corrupt parent as well as the child too?
But
Yep.
I'm gonna go back to the village though. There's communities that you're not coming in those communities doing what you want to do, and that's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. So it ain't what they parent want to do; it's what that environment is gonna allow. And we do have to tighten up our zip codes to create a different atmosphere. Where if you do come over here, you're gonna be met with resistance, and it might be some out of town people that's there holding you accountable, and don't worry about retaliation because they going back to where they came from. That's the type
Mm.
of future we're looking at, where we're not gonna be afraid to challenge you because you're not gonna know where those protesters are coming from.
I think the Latino area is already working on that kind of tactic. They're having a lot of crime too, but I also see a lot of groups of men who are patrolling those blocks and stuff. You're just not going to come and take anything.
Well,
No.
I remember they did that with the business community during the COVID time, I believe, right?
Yeah, but they're doing that now. I've seen some of those efforts reinstated, if you will, because the crime is just ridiculous. And I don't know. I'm just hearing rumor about the contention with the Venezuelans being there, and they're just not going to let them have any leverage in their communities. So
Well,
they
good
feel
for
like
them.
they're protected.
Yeah, power to the people on the block. Yeah, I believe in that. So power to the people on the block all the time. Um,
Yeah.
But you know
so
what? Over here on 95th and Western, over here at the Walmarts, they have a whole lot of Venezuelans in there every day, and they get their cars parked there, and they're saying different things. So we quit going to that Walmart over there now because it's like they're taking over the Walmart over there on 95th and Western. We don't even go to the Sam's Club over there anymore. We go to Calumet City because it's crazy.
Yeah, I was over there the other day, and it was really jam
Yes.
packed.
And they get
See
that
it.
whole wall back there, like where the Sam's Club side is, where the tire shop is. They have all them Venezuelans there with their cars
And
and
waiting
stuff.
on a job.
Yep,
They're waiting on work too.
yeah.
I'm like, okay.
And definitely up there at the Home Depot on 87th. They really be up there.
I've seen them there too. Great numbers.
I
Mike,
guess
I don't know
so
what you
to put
guys
it
are
in
doing.
context, y'all. To put it in context, there's some the world meter, the people who predict the future population, by 2050, 25% of the world will be African. That's just 27 years from now. 20. What will happen is
You sure it's not gonna
of the
be
world.
Latino?
Oh no. The group in the world right now is the Asians, the Chinese, the Han Chinese. They're 19% of the whole world.
Mm.
Right after that are the Indians and the Africans. 19, they're both at 17% of the whole world. The least are the Europeans and the challenge and the Arabs. The challenge is low fertility rates. So literally, they are worried in Europe because they're not repopulating and they don't have the fertility to repopulate. And so immigration looks different from Africa to Europe. They're worried. They're killing and making sure they're not receiving those African immigrants because they are afraid of overpopulation and turning Europe black. Like that's a legitimate concern they have there. And then here in America, we're concerned about the Hispanic or the Latin coming up and into the U.S. urban centers, the black neighborhoods, and taking over for us. So you see how around the world it looks different. Africa is migrating to Europe. The Latins are migrating up to America. No one's doing it in Australia, India,
Right.
China, those places. They're not worried about that. That's our problem, West primarily.
And they're
Because the
trying to recruit the
government
black
don't
men.
allow.
They're trying to recruit the black men to come over to where is it? Japan to mate with the women to make some more children.
Yeah, the businessman offered money for to help get their population stronger because they like companies got to plan ahead, so they got to know they're going to have people there for profits and for staffing. So they are looking at those numbers, and there is some worry in the business community. All right, so now it's 4 o'clock, so we're gonna be getting Charles here in a minute. So I just want to tell y'all what the block war games are. Y'all see that on the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, I got to run, but it was a pleasure being here today.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Talk to
Take
y'all
care,
later.
Mike.
Okay,
Yeah.
Talk
thank you.
to you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. So it's a board game, you guys. It's a board game, and it has you use quarter, nickels, dimes, and pennies. So you use all four of those money groups, and you move up and down this board like Monopoly. And instead of like on Monopoly, you got the types of houses on the block. So you got the single mom house with 3 sons. Then you got this house here with just senior citizens. And as you move out the board, when you pull however many spaces you go, you land on there. But the reason for this block war game is to help people understand the battle on the block. So that mom with 3 sons, one of the sons is breaking in the house. So therefore, this neighbor don't like them because your son is the reason my TV missing. So it's a real life what we're going through, what we see happening block by block, and it's about 20 scenarios that you move to. And the goal for you is to pull the card that's going to allow you to fix, So for instance, if she got 3 sons, you can pull the card that says you got 3 mentors. Now you can match that. You know what I mean? It's all about just getting our people thinking about block by block what we're dealing with and pulling a card that'll help you mitigate some of the problems. So that's what the block war games are.
It's a board game we can buy.
Right now it's written up. I mean, it's in paper format. So like, I print you some copies of it. You get your own loose change and you can play it. But eventually, yeah, we'll commercialize it. But I'm using this for training because we got some people who, I think Tracy admitted it when she first started working with us. She didn't have a clue what was happening block by block because she mind her own business. This go help you to read as you go throughout the board game. You go see what's happening behind these households, behind these doors.
Are we, you think, going to be able to continue? We used to do a face-to-face, door-to-door thing, but now with everybody online, has that been scaled so that it encompasses that kind of interaction?
No, we gonna always do door to door, but watch this. I'm glad you brought that up. Now we're doing pinpoint door to door because now our blocks used to be guaranteed pro reparation blocks. Like literally everybody on the block was pro reparations, but now we've been infiltrated with people who are pro immigration. So they're more PR pro immigration than PR, which is pro reparations. So now we don't want to be putting flyers out to the PI, that's pro-immigration, talking about reparations, because we know they're against that. And so I think it's more pinpoint now how we go door to door, block by block now.
Okay.
Do that make sense? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you get those people that'll do that.
No, we do it. The kids, like that. That's the benefit. Like that's our bread and
Still
butter.
our
This is for the
children.
summit.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, we do that, and that's the benefit of out of town people. When you in town, let's put the flyers out for the next summit. Let's ride together. We go eat afterwards. So you make it a fun affair. We go door to door, meet some people, and then we also go and have a good meal afterwards. What's up, Governor Charles? I see you.
What's up, my people?
Your video, Charles.
Here I go right here, but I don't have a shirt on yet, so that's why I'm not.
You got pictures to look at?
No, I was in the middle of just lying in my hair and getting this beard together and stuff.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
it's all
I'm
good.
here though. I'm here.
It's all good. All right, so yeah, the block war games. I'm gonna make sure the governors get a chance to look at it before we go public with it. But just know, it's designed so when we in the classrooms, like you just said, Claudette, we can make it more interactive with our people, where they can. Oh, I didn't know, man. This mother got a schizophrenic son. Oh man, what do you do about that? You pull the card and hopefully you can deal with it. So yeah, it's just gonna bring us more awareness. All right. So now, everyone, every Wednesday is our economic day, our Buy Black Day. We don't give our money to people who don't care about our conditions day. So at the end of the month, if we're following that habit, Wednesday economic habit, we can name 4 Black people we circulate money with on the for-profit business side, not charities, but someone's business, their enterprise. Whether they're legally incorporated or not, are we circulating Black dollars to Black people? And I think a lot of times we think it has to be a lot of money. I would say it this way, a mindset to have. Any circulation is better than suffocation. So the amount isn't as important as the fact that you sold into that risk taker.
Yeah.
But what do y'all think about that?
I agree. As our communities seem to be devoid of Black businesses, pretty much. One of the things I know that Black people do, and that's eat out. They eat. And we've got so many different capabilities, food trucks and places you could go pop up and support a Black business specifically on those days. I personally have decided I'm not buying any more Mexican food, Arab food, and Asian food. They give not one dime to my community. And I like all 3 of those kinds of food. But
Yeah.
I've started cooking it myself. I'm like, I'm not giving, I couldn't go in your neighborhood and sell a ice cream cone. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to support you in my neighborhood.
Yeah. Nah, that's real talk. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
real talk.
yeah. I piggyback on what Claudette said. I had the opportunity this summer. I was doing
Hey, Charles,
Uber Eats.
Charles, you are recorded. I just want to make sure you know that we on YouTube.
Yeah. I know. I mean, it's a pickup from not working for the summer. So that's what I did. And I had the opportunity to see so many eateries from the east side of Chicago to the west side of Chicago. Far south side, there's so many Black eateries. I was overwhelmed. There was so many. So I think that economic piece of supporting starting with that, and any other Black business, of course, but starting with that. I mean, there's so many places. Nobody could say there's no Black restaurants out here. Just seeing that. Yeah.
Now think about this, you guys. So if we talk about industries, unfortunately, we are more in the sales industry and we're more in the service industry. And the challenge with that is, what are we manufacturing? Because the manufacturing is an area that we can create more jobs in, because that means you're having to take raw materials and produce something, you know?
Yes. I was listening to a report recently, and they were talking about how with that L going to be extended to 139th Street, and the proposals are going out, but because Chicago has divested in any trade schools and all of that, they got to go to Michigan and Wisconsin and Indiana for the help they're going to need on the lines going through our community. And it makes me sad. No more black skilled tradesmen. What happened? You know.
But watch this. When you talk about the supply chain, it makes no sense for me to take on debt, go to school, get the trade when I'm not going to get hired. Now I got debt running behind me. So we do need to have confidence that we're going to have ongoing contracts to justify me going to training for 24 months, you know, because I know there's a long-term job afterwards, and it's not, I get this degree and now I got to figure it out, you know? And that's what these other people do. They're literally lining up next year, 5 years from now, what projects are coming online to ensure continuity, so they can ensure that they go have revenue from the construction side.
I was looking at this reparations intention to restore trade schools back in Chicago public schools again. And as you said, you know, we had this opportunity to show ourselves as ineffective. So I wondered, you go back to school and learn how to do something, who will hire you? You know, all the work I see done in my neighborhood is Hispanic or some other. It's not black people working.
Yep. No, point. And Reverend Taylor, he got the African American Plumbers and Contract Association. And what I was saying to them, they are tapping into all this money Pete Buttigieg is putting in infrastructure around America. But I told them, no matter how much money is coming down, billions of dollars, I'm a proponent like this. If you can't do well with little, you're not ready to do nothing big. I just believe that. So you can get $1 billion, but I haven't seen you do good with $5,000 yet. I haven't seen you do good with this lady plumbing in her house yet. So how you go do bigger plumbing? So I do think we haven't tested our people capacity to handle the little, and you should be able to handle the little with ease. That lets me know you're ready to elevate, do bigger. Because the problem with getting bigger stuff and you not well, now you're gonna contaminate your name. You know, and when you contaminate your name, that justifies them staying away from you, you know? So on that note, just so you guys know, we are gonna help Reverend Taylor and the group, because the plumbing has to be done out of everyone's house. Like literally, they're going from your sidewalk to your backyard. And that work, you get to select the plumber you want to do that work. So we're gonna work with Reverend Taylor to make sure that we're selecting the plumbers in his network, and they're going to be supporting our 12th grade university, because plumbers are linked to 12th graders structurally. So that's coming down the pipeline. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that's one of the things we're going to be doing to help them, and at the same time use our own tax money to put our people to work. All right. The other thing is the construction projects coming up outside of the plumbing. So when I look at I'm driving around, look at the front porches, I can see the ones that's borderline, you know, code violation, because, you know, it could fall down if you know, they don't get it dealt with. So we know what the real issue behind that is, and what the real issue is economic. The real issue is they probably behind on other bills, so that's a back burner. So in Europe, in one country in Europe in particular, I was looking at, to make sure that they construction men had work to do, they put a proposal together and it passed, where they was giving people either free or long-term loans to do the front parts of their homes, all the windows or the porches and that type of stuff. But what that did, it put their carpenters to work, their window workers to work, installators and people like that. That was the government ensuring that the banking and the financial structures would get their money back. But it was helping the homeowners stay in their homes and create jobs for the homeowners that's in construction. So it's gonna be harder now with us having so many immigrants in our zip codes. But that's the type of policy we need to have to help our homeowners and create the jobs for our construction people. What do y'all think about that?
Well, I want to ask the question, if anybody can recall, I don't know if anybody's as old as I am, but maybe 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when all the back porches were falling down. And all of a sudden there was an initiative and everybody just about got a new porch structure, instead of people living in those old rag traps that we had in the past. So I'm thinking, 30 years have passed now and they need rebuilding. I don't know what economic stuff they use to make it possible for so many porches to be rebuilt. Certainly we can explore things like that.
And that's what I'm saying. But now we can't do it like we would have done it when we were isolated. Because how do you justify doing the black porch and skipping over, not doing the migrant porch? You know what I mean? So it'll be harder now, but that's what needs to happen. That's the way of taking the public and the private sector and making it make sense for the taxpayer. So yeah.
Well, it's the homeowner though who would get that benefit. So if he had migrants in his place, he might still qualify.
Yeah,
just because he is the owner and the money is going directly to the owners, not the tenants, if you will.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was being nice the way I was saying that, but you get my point. So I'm saying we used to have isolated all black neighborhoods. So anything you did, it was going to impact us. But now we're in shared communities. So it'll have to be for everybody. And I'm not, gung ho about that. I think I said this before. Black neighborhoods across the country are white collar crime scenes.
You're frozen.
What about now?
Okay, you're talking now.
I said, to me, black neighborhoods across the country are white collar crime scenes.
I agree. I think they help make us criminals with the lack of support and resources available to us. People are going to thrive and survive as best they can. So to me, it just extends what I call the informal economy. People making a way out of no way. And a lot of that stuff is really criminal. You lied so you could get more stamps or move into this place. I only got one child, you got 6 of them. So it just promotes criminality to me.
Now that's the next level, what you just said. I wasn't talking about that. That's a whole nother arena, what you just said. What I'm talking about with white collar crime, our communities were illegally gentrified. They were illegally redlined. Nepotism, fraud took place. And that's when white flight took place. And the problem with that is laws were broken. You weren't supposed to discriminate. You weren't supposed, and they got away with it. So it's a crime scene. And now you got people moving into our communities, contaminating it, because by you moving in, you see it as a step up. Oh, it ain't that bad. No, this is a crime scene. Don't disturb it. We need this evidence that our legal case. Now you coming over here, I get it, you beautifying it. Now you say, well, you could have did the same thing. It was a crime scene. And now you came in here and disrupted the scene. So now they gonna think it's, well, you could have did what they did. No, you need to be held to account for what you did wrong. That's what I mean by that.
Okay. Again, that WDON-TV got some really good historical research on that, how this has happened with the land in Chicago, the redlining, and all of that.
Yeah, but that message is going to dissipate when you got so many people now in those were once isolated segregated communities. Now that it's diverse, like Harlem, New York, you got people in Harlem. No, it's a great community.
They didn't live there before.
Yeah, like no, a crime took place here. Don't just gloss over that crime now just because it's better for you. So yeah, but anyway. All right. So now we moving on. Charles, give us an update on the education front. What you seeing, man? What's happening academically? You might be on mute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, from looking at this school year and what all's taking place, there's nothing I see very new in education. It's just what I've been seeing, much of the same. I mean, not as far as on a positive note, it's what it is to me.
Now,
Um,
but what about like with the migrants, with funding, after school programs, that type of stuff?
um, the migrants that start there, a lot of neighborhoods, most neighborhoods that I'm in on the south side of Chicago, with the schools, I'm seeing an influx of migrants to schools that didn't have not one single migrant. I'm talking about one, like a flood of migrants, and now I'm starting to see floods inside the communities too. Like I work on the south side, near, let's see what I should say, near the bus terminal near 74th and Damon. And I used to see a few Hispanics around there, but now with the migrants coming along, I'm seeing them all over the neighborhood now. That part right there, that's one thing.
Now,
And then, go ahead, questions?
now I was gonna ask on that. Like, are you guys able to speak the language inside the school? Like, how are you translating?
Well, they got phone translation now for a lot of us where we
Yes.
can, that's a good
Oh,
question
cool.
you had. Yeah, because now we got you got a translate piece on your phone that could convert languages. So we could ask them a question in English through our phone and it'll talk to them back in Spanish. And then whatever they say in Spanish, it'll convert it back to us in English. Yeah.
Did y'all get a raise for that new additional responsibility?
Well, yeah, a matter of fact, what they're gonna do is they're gonna have people to take classes to solve that, and then it's gonna be translators. And I'm thinking it doesn't matter what color you are, as long as you take the course. And that way, they'll give a $500 stifle a month, think something like that, or a paycheck or something like that. That's what I heard. As soon as I get more information about that, I will give an update.
Yeah, sign me up. $500 a month is just what I need.
Yep.
Well, you know that's how they got the black landlords. They gave them so much guaranteed money, and they're like, all right, put them blacks out. Let's bring in the migrants.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I could use $500 a month too. That'd be a blessing.
see that's how they get us economically. They know we need it, so it's like, yeah, they'll do it. Yeah, we dangle that money and we get them.
Yeah, well, which I think, I mean, to me, that's great for anybody that want to do it. It's a chance for them to make extra money. But at the same time, what they're trying to do is say no, because it could be an overwhelmingness of that when you translate. They're trying to figure out a formula of should they do it by way of how much you translate and make it a certain thing. It just can't be a cap because you might spend your whole day translating
You will.
and doing the job in the classroom. So yeah.
And while you're doing that, the other children suffering because they don't have the attention.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It might take your whole day.
Yeah, that's a problem. And to be honest with you, I know people don't like segregation, but having them all inside of a zip code school would have been ideal because then you can ensure that you got them all in one area, you can pay more attention to them than having being dispersed everywhere now.
Right. In mine, everybody's a shortage of teachers
That too.
at the same time. Yep.
That too. All right. So now we're going to move over to the health side. As you guys, I think on the senior call, we talked about how the big tobacco, big companies, RG Morris and all of them, in the late 80s, they saw how the government was cracking down on the addictive practices of nicotine. So they started buying up shares of stock inside of these food companies. So what ended up happening over that period is they took the same practices of how they made that stuff addictive for us, and they applied it to the food. And so now you have America who is way, way overweight than they should be. Did you guys know that that's what happened in the 80s with tobacco started moving toward food?
No, I didn't know it. As a smoker, I certainly didn't know it. So now I got a reason my gut is so big. Huh? They planned that too.
Yeah, these people are special, buddy. And
You
watch
got them
this.
out
What's
with
so
Gobi now, which we can't afford to lose
yeah,
that weight. I'm like, oh, gosh.
nah, you know, let's just say nothing is a happenstance, you know.
Right. You got companies now I see what you're saying. You got companies, they were selling pens at first, now they meat producers too and stuff like that. So they didn't dip themselves into old fashions and stuff.
So they said right here, in the 1980s, tobacco giants Philip Morris and R.J. Reynolds acquired major food companies, Kraft, General Foods, and started pushing the same strategies to hook people on processed foods. So ain't that something, like, literally, that's in right? You can Google that. That's really unfortunate. But again, when we get more close knit, we're gonna be making sure we're growing our own food and not being dependent on them. And chocolate, I got to put this out there. So y'all know chocolate does not grow in Europe.
I thought it
Does
was Africa.
everybody? Huh?
I thought it was Africa.
That's West Africa, to be exact. Right. In West Africa, and of course in Black Brazil. But you know who controls all the chocolate, not us. So what God put in black land, the other people took it and they control the industry. And chocolate is a $1 billion industry. There's a Ghana cocoa brand called Delila. It's 5 of them. And so they are taking their own cocoa and making chocolate. And if we don't know about it, we definitely can't be supporting them and buying it. So I do think in the future, under our food department, we start looking at how we can buy the Ghana coconut or chocolate and start seeing we can get. What do y'all think about that?
Well, you froze up at the end, but I'd like to know more about those companies.
We didn't hear what you
global.
said because you froze up.
Yeah. Judy, can you pull up Ghana chocolate brand?
Okay,
Judy,
let me see here. Okay, hold
Ghana,
on.
inside of Ghana. So while she's doing that, you guys, just like we talked about George's Music Room, I mean the George's Liquor Place wasn't really owned by George Music Room, even though his name was on it. It was owned by some Arab guys when we looked it up and saw the city license and where it was stationed to. It's the same thing with chocolate. So as Judy pull it up, you go see that we not even controlling the chocolate in our own country of Ghana.
Right. Ghana is the second largest exporter of chocolate beans in the world. After Ivory Coast, Ghana's chocolate cultivation, however, is noted within the developing world to be one of the most modeled commodities and values.
Yeah. And now what the unrepentant people of Europe have done, now they're trying to make lab grown chocolate just like lab grown diamonds because they're getting exposed for exploiting Africa of those two raw materials.
Right. It says 800,000 families in Ghana depend on cocoa farming for their livelihood. However, many farmers struggle to make a living, earning about 3% of the price of a chocolate bar. Ghana exports most of its cocoa beans to Europe and North America, where they are turned into chocolate. However, a new generation of African women, chocolatiers, and manufacturing chocolates in Ghana, such as Addison Sisters of 57 Chocolates.
Yeah. Yep. 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 And that's what we gotta like. We gotta get into that. Like we should be supporting our brothers and sisters over there. So that's a Team 7 issue, a food issue. So that's good. That's good, Judy.
And Sai, you talk about black farmers. Do you know we got an urban grower collective at 9000 South Mackinac on the southeast side of Chicago? It says, do you know that there's an urban farm on the southeast side of Chicago? I saw it on TV this morning. I copied it down real quick so I can remember it. We got a whole farm over there, and they're teaching the young children and stuff how to be farmers and everything. I wrote down the address and all the information. And they give away food as well as you come and they teach the children how to become farmers.
What's that address again?
9000 South Mackinac. It's called Urban Growers Collective.
Okay.
This is powerful. Thank you, Judy.
Very powerful. When I saw it on TV, I said, "Oh, it's a holiday." I've heard of them. Wrote. I knew it was something else I had to say to you. That's what I wanted to say. That's going on the south. We got our own farm, black farmers, on the southeast side of Chicago.
Now. Yeah, I'm on the website now. So all of these places. This is a Team 7 issue. This is going to go to Governor Denise King because they listing the black farms also in Detroit and all them places. So this is beautiful.
Awesome. Right here in Chicago.
No, this is Detroit. This ain't Chicago.
No, this is in Chicago.
I'm saying they
Oh.
selling. Yeah, they selling it all over in Detroit and other places. So
Oh,
that'll
yeah.
allow us to get our other zip codes that's in these other cities on board too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they doing business with farms all over the country.
Yep.
This is good. All right, cool beans. That's a good one there. So we got that. Let me put this on. With him, like buying anything, we directly helping our first graders out since farmers structurally are linked to first graders. Okay. All right, that's good. Thank you, Judy. All right, so
welcome.
Yeah, so now let's move over real quick to the policy and legal side. And so the government report card. So just off the top, can y'all tell me how y'all feel about your elected officials? Any hope you feel like they're doing a good job just to check the temperature?
No, I don't think they're doing the best job they can do. And I don't know how to eliminate it since money is the fuel behind all of this. The people don't really matter. I'm disappointed. Nobody has come to my little senior building, brought me no sandwiches or nothing to count my vote. And they're extending all their efforts elsewhere. They're just so certain that I'm going to vote for them.
Yeah.
And, I just think that's wrong. They're not, these aldermen that are bucking the mayor, what's the purpose? And whose support do they have? My question.
So if you're there, we don't hear you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not eager to run down and vote myself because just the directions that stuff that this just looking administratively that they had run, I see nothing that has been done. I know these little things of I mean, my thing is just like, and I'm gonna say this, when the administration that's currently in there now got in, the things were supposed to be um college debt, stuff like that, dealing with education, and I don't, and then all of a sudden it changed to okay, which I know ain't no magic. You can't just come in as a administrator and push a button and make it all go away. But I'm just saying, don't make those type of promises. And a lot of people depended on it. It clearly did nothing for their debt because a lot of them still in debt.
Yeah.
On the education side, that's what I see.
It's funny.
And a lot of them, they make these promises and stuff, and then they really don't have no backing, but they're trying to get their foot in the office, and then when they get in there, it's like they stuck because then the other people that's supposed to work with, they don't work together.
No.
Claudette, what was you about to say?
Some of that student loan stuff. I just had a friend had over $220,000, and she's working on a PhD. Debt forgiven, done. And then I got another friend who she had about $80,000 of debt forgiven. And the stipulation is they can't go for any further education with loans and stuff. They have 3 years. I think the one with 220,000 has 3 years. She cannot enter school again. She has to work or something. Otherwise, that debt would be reinstated. It's like, oh, it's crazy.
Do
But
y'all
there are some
remember
people.
the whole college thing? Y'all remember like how that really got put to the higher level? Like what decade that was when college became a big deal?
The 70s, late 60s, affirmative action. They pushed us, and
Mm.
I was just ahead of the affirmative action group and to go to college. And then when the affirmative action came into place, that's when we saw numbers. When I went to Northern, there were 11 black out of 22,000. Within the next 2 years, the numbers, exceeded 1,000. I mean, that was because of the affirmative action. But they encouraged those people to take those loans out and stuff. Some of them really didn't even need them, I don't think. They were children of principals and teachers and, things like this where they just got it because it was accessible.
So, but what's
Can't hear you.
We lost you, sir.
do y'all know the racist part of college? The racist part of it.
The money allocation.
Well,
Yeah, go
I
ahead, Chuck.
think to myself, just like going back to the 60s and stuff, when in college, I'm hearing it was free, kind of free back then. And soon as this particular race to me jumped in it, they say, well, it's too many. We gotta push a button here to stop this. We gotta push a button to slow this down because they'll be outsourcing us in a minute. So that's what I see. That's what I figured happened. I mean, no matter, and a lot of people that were in what they consider poverty, they started. I mean, who wants to pay even these days $100,000 loan back? You know, I mean, that's crazy.
Hmm. Yeah. So after World War II, that's really when this whole push of education became racialized, if you will, because blacks were getting more rights and were getting put on, and so they had to again always elevate. Whenever we get level or appear to be getting level, let's elevate the bar. And so the companies had to things that could have required on-the-job training, they said, nope, got to have a degree now. So what that did, that was them forcing us to now have to go to college. And of course, the colleges, supply and demand, raised the prices. And then the loans came in to put you in debt. So it was literally a strategic trap. And we still suffer from that today. So when you talk about forgiving something, it shouldn't have been in the first place. Do y'all get what I'm saying? What do y'all think about that?
I agree 100%. That's what my daughter talks about all the time. That's why when she got the Nurse Corps scholarship to go and get her nurse practitioner, I'm happy she got that. They've given her a full ride scholarship, paying for all her tuition, her books, and giving her a stipend every month. That's a blessing. Because I mean, doggone, come on, y'all. How many kids are out there trying to do the same thing? That's why when we share about the scholarships, we try to help others so that they'll be aware and know about things. That's like the Daniel Murphy Scholarship. I tell parents when your child get to 6th grade, start applying for it, because when you're in 7th grade, that's when you get in it. And they got all those big corporations out there helping your children that we don't know about. And in fact, they paid for my girlfriend's son to go to Marquette University back in the day, from Marquette Elementary School. And then he went to De La Salle High School. He had a full ride scholarship. Then he went to Marquette University, and they had a full ride scholarship from the Daniel Murphy Scholarship from 7th grade.
Wow,
and a lot of
that's
people don't
great.
know about these. A lot of people don't know about these scholarships, the Daniel Murphy Scholarship. Have you heard about that, Governor?
Um, I have heard various other scholarships, and that's just like you saying. It's a good thing you said that, and that's what I advise. Just like even on a high school level, um, I've seen some people get on the bowling teams in high schools and stuff like that, and get scholarships to colleges for doing it.
Yep.
Full rides, some of them, and stuff like that. So it's
Yep.
so much stuff out there. But I mean, my thing with it was, I mean, that's just like being an educated parent. You know, just like you're saying, you got to know what's out there. Of course, those who's educated would know, but it's the twofold to that is the people that's not educated and don't have layers of support to either teach them or show them, as you saying. But my thing is this the sticking point to me, but who paid for the foreign people that come here in their education and stuff like that? I mean, they get a free ride, but who's paying for that?
Well,
You
I
know,
got a niece that lives in Palos. Now she just came back from Germany. They paid for her to go there. She wants
yeah.
to be a doctor or scientist, and she was there for like the summer months. They paid for her to go to school in Germany, abroad, so she can learn things. She's a I think she's a junior in high school.
Right.
Yep.
Who paid for it? Did Germany pay for it or did the United States pay for it?
I'm not sure, but I'm going to ask my niece so that we can be aware. Because see, I was really
Right.
into the school real big when I was back in the day. My daughter went to Marquette, and I was on the LSA and the PTA, and I was really trying to tell parents, the black parents, and just wake them up. Come on, y'all! Y'all need to come on and jump on this stuff so you can be here for your children. Like the Illinois Bachelorette Program. What is that? I put my daughter in that at Marquette School, and she was doing college work back in grammar school. And then when she got to college at Spelman College, well, she went to De La Salle first, then Spelman College. She was way already up there doing what she had to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I try to share, but some of these, how these parents are. You work at the school, so you know what I'm talking about. They can always be something. Oh, my son or my daughter, they don't do that. You don't know what your child does because you're not in there interacting what they're doing. Your children sometimes be something else, and you're not aware of it because you don't really take the time. You really have to be involved in what your children are doing to know what's what. And then, like I say, when you learn about the different stuff, then you need to share it. Even though I'm a grandma, 71 years old now, going to be 72 on my next birthday. Anything I can find to help somebody to share as far as a scholarship, I'm always sharing.
That's great.
All right. So the next step, laws on the books. We, and I thank everyone on this call for joining the NAACP. We work with Rose Joshua. She's the president of the Southside branch. And we worked out how we gonna work together, a memorandum of understanding. I shared it with you guys. What we get out of the deal is access to the network, NAACP, who's willing. Of course, we're not getting the info they don't want to share, and the lawyers group. So NAACP files lawsuits all the time, so we will be able to meet those attorneys. That fits with our 8th grade mock trial agenda, the 8th grade university helping our young people who want to become lawyers. So this is going to help us put on those mock trials in the various zip codes. And this is in exchange for us taking out $30 a year annual membership with them. So I thank all of y'all for coming on board. This year it was granted. Next year we really pay it. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be a member of that Roseland NAACP chapter. Has their hands in a lot of stuff, and I'd like to support them as best I can. But I'm hoping that the legal club will get to civics. That's the thing that I think our young people really need to know.
Yeah, it's tied together. Yeah, we got it tied together. Because like this month, one of the mock trials is about a senior citizen who's suing the nursing home that they was in, and the family member, because of the bruises and things of that nature. And so they learn, like, whenever you got to try a case, you got to do your research, and then research, you find out what the operations of this facility, who started, is there any previous cases. So they're going to be learning, about how to try a case, and that puts them into learning what the law is. And that's, to me, tied to the civic part.
Very good.
The benefit also, NAACP is national. So this is going to allow us, I've already looked up the NAACP in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm working on the NAACP in Milwaukee and Detroit. Since once we get to 1,000 people, $1, those are the first 3 cities that I'm going to be hitting to get their Black businesses on board. So we'll already be able to show them what we're doing in Chicago with the Southside branch, and hopefully they'll do the same thing in Detroit, St. Louis, and Milwaukee. So that's going to allow us to get into all our cities. So because there's NAACP everywhere, now we get to show what we built with them here in Chicago and take it to all 20 cities as well. Any thoughts on that? That was like my hidden agenda. I was like looking forward to that. Like, yeah, we can really build with this. And of course, voter registration. So we want to, all them 17-year-olds, we want to be having conversations with them so that way they can start to really be, informed on why their vote is going to matter as soon as they hit 18. And you can register them early if it's in a certain window. So voter registration is a big deal. Governor Brittany is in charge of that with us. She's working with Elder Lanyard at Apostolic Church of God in Christ. So I know they went to Wisconsin this month. So it's some good things happening, but we just want to, on our end, help get people registered. Any thoughts on that?
No, it was today that they went to Wisconsin. Might be the second time they've gone.
Oh, really?
They were just asking, boots on the ground, just come on out. They're going to do back here in Chicago at 5 o'clock.
Well, that's right up our alley. That's what we do anyway. So, yeah. All right. So, anything open session, anything you guys have that we need to discuss that we didn't bring up yet? All right. So the G20, and for those who are watching for the first time, the G20 stands for Global 20 Richest Economies in the World. These countries meet every year. And to me, these countries meet to keep Black people on the bottom worldwide. I'm labeling that. I would love to hear from them if they disagree, because their economies is built on taking the raw materials out of Africa at very, very exploitative pricing. Uranium that sells for $200 per gram. They were paying 80 cents for it. France was $200 and you're paying 80 cents. That's exploitation. That's how do you look yourself in the mirror type stuff. And you wonder, you seeing these people poor and starving, and you're taking something, you're selling for $200 and you're paying 80 cents. So to me, the G20 is about getting the diamonds, the gold, the coca, the coffee out of Africa at those type of rates so that they can grow their economies at the expense of the people that don't matter to them. They're going to be meeting next month in Brazil. God willing, I love to be there. I'm making sure I don't plan nothing around that time just in case the money flow and I can really get there. But it's going to be this year, and y'all know Brazil is it's the largest black place outside of Africa. And I love to be there. Any thoughts on G20, you guys? Okay. One more thing on the G20 before we move on to Gary. So Australia, which just like America, had indigenous people that they were called Aborigines. And these are from Hams, out of Noah's 3 sons. These were the Hamites, if you will, dark-skinned people. That's what Ham stands for, dark-skinned. So these are dark-skinned, I'm calling them black people that had Australia. And the evil ones came over there and killed off a lot of them and took over the land, and now it's a white country. So the same thing we did, essentially, they did here in the country. That's what happened there. But the point is, we still have our dark-skinned black Aborigines there. And to me, between them and Australia is a member of the G20, Indonesia, they have some of our most beautiful black people there, again, from Ham's tribe. And these people are being treated wrong and ignored because of the same thing we suffer from here. However, we're much more powerful financially than they are. Blacks in America are the richest blacks. We spend the most money than anyone in the world. So when we get our Wednesday agenda right, we can start really helping our people in these other G20 countries that's being done wrong. How does that hit y'all spirit when you hear that? What do y'all think about that?
Well, I like the idea. I'd like to see some G20 start right at home in our square blocks, and support those that support us.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit more. What do you mean by that, Claudette? You mean like the Venezuelans? Because there's 2 million Afro-Venezuelans too in Venezuela.
No, and check that about Venezuela. It used to be one of the richest countries till we got over there and started messing around with that oil and stuff, and it changed.
Mhm.
Then you had these dictators and stuff to take over, and now they're one of the poorest countries. I'm like, and that's 2 generations they've done that. If that long.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. No. And I ain't gonna say we in terms of us. It wasn't black people that was in charge doing that.
Right. They stopped them from letting. They were going to put all the Citgo gas at one time in Venezuela in the black neighborhoods, and they blocked that stuff so that we could not get that gas.
No, that's right. So, but I do want to add this to the G20 conversation, you guys. So, because Claudette brought up a great point, I just want to make sure we know the enemy is the same enemy, and they benefit if we don't synchronize. So, your zip code, we got linked to Germany, Claudette. So the Afro-Germans, us talking to Afro-Germans on your duty day, that helps us because over there, they're going through racist, the Nazi type people who hate them over there, even though they was born there in Germany. They're legitimately Germans, but because they dark skinned, they get police brutality and discriminated against. Charles, well, now we'll go with 60629. 60629 is linked to Korea. So our Afro-Koreans over there.
There's a shocking piece that's being on that WVON TV now and PBS talking about the Koreans, and any of them that had black fathers. They separated them from the family, and it was one of the largest adoption rings in the history of mankind. Because they would ship them babies over here. I'm like, really cool and inhumane stuff. but because of the
And
skin color.
that's why, because we go use this structure, the G20. Look at that. We didn't create the G20, but see how it match our C20, the Chicago 20 zip code? Can y'all see how that look? We didn't do that. We had the 20 Chicago zip codes, and then here comes G20, and it makes sense for us to strategically watch them, monitor them, and every zip code monitoring a different country over there to make sure they don't get off the hook.
When I was in South Korea, and we were at this big stadium, they were trying to have some commemoration of the demarcation point there between North and South, and this voice came out. You know, there was a real pageantry thing, and I looked to see who this voice was, and this woman had a black face. I'm like, what? You know, because we really hadn't seen a lot of black people over there in South Korea. But to find out that the black man had made, heck, she was a supreme opera star too. But she later on, we found out her family was not really there for her because she was a mixed race. So she kind of grew up in the public spectrum. I'm like, wow, that woman had a voice. And to see that color over there, I think there were about 50,000 people in that stadium. If there were 20 blacks, that was a lot. So when that woman sang, everybody perked up. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. And it's all because we love all human beings. Make no mistake about it. But the world is set up to hate dark skin.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And you go through all the G20 countries, guess who lives in the worst parts of those countries?
The dark skinned people.
Yep. Guess who the police mess with the most in all those countries?
Dark skinned people.
So as we continue to organize ourselves and get connected, it's going to give more power and strength and resolve to the people who've been beat down the most all around the world. Dark-skinned people. So thank y'all. All right, the conventions are all in Gary, Indiana, because that is a black city that we want to see come into vibrancy again. So by hosting every weekend a different convention is going to justify people coming up from Milwaukee, from DC, from Birmingham. So November's lineup for the conventions are Journalism Convention, which is going to be coming up on November 2nd. The Chef and Catering Convention is the next week, which will be the 9th. Then you have the Sewing Convention, which will be the week later. And then the last one will be the Homeless and Housing Convention, which would be the 23rd, I believe. I don't have it in front of me. So journalism, chef, sewing, and homeless is November's lineup for the conventions out of Gary. We'll do it on Zoom if we don't get the financing to do it in person. Any thoughts on that, you guys?
Well, it's a good combination there. You got the food, you got those with housing. Maybe they can come together and get some remedy. You know, it's only eating for that day. You know?
I thank you for that. I didn't look at it that way, but you're right. That is, and sewing is manufacturing, you guys.
Yes. Well, Jamaica is gonna hear that.
Oh yeah. But that's what I was saying. The more manufacturing, that's where jobs are really created in more numbers, because you got to procure the raw materials, deal with it, and then manufacture whatever you go make. So yeah, manufacturing and sewing is a big part of that.
Have you looked into Temu, their history, how they're making these products where you can shop like a billionaire and it's cheap. But they have created housing and everything for their workers, and they're on call 24 hours a day to make these products. So they set up.
What made you look into that?
I started shopping with Temu, and then they started talking about, the fact that it's China, and how could they produce all this stuff so cheaply? So I started researching and came up and found that out about Temu, their whole industry. It's like what we used to do after the war. Town would be built for car making or whatever, and they provide housing and everything, but the people who live there work there. And they said this.
And I see that for us doing for self and our people in Africa. That's what I see.
Mm.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Too many of our people struggling, and Timu ain't helping on that end. So we
Oh
got
no.
we got
Yeah,
to
I
do.
heard a good report how the Nigerians, I think, are the second largest group of billionaires in the world.
Mhm.
I'm like, hey,
Yeah, yeah. Well, unless you guys have anything else, the next one, and this isn't for PQs and Rs. The next one is last names S, T, and U. I'm a Smith, so I'm next month, and that's Saturday, November 23rd. So we'll be here, the STs and Us, going through the same agenda, but we'll be hearing from our Smiths, Sandersons, Tollisons, Taylors, and Underwoods. Any closing remarks from anybody?
I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday time and stuff. Like I said, I'm leaving Chicago Tuesday, and I'll be gone for some months. One of my brothers has cancer, and somebody needs to be there, so I'm going to see what help I can be to him. So
And
I'm
let
just
me
gonna
know
Just
when
your
you're
see.
going there.
presence is gonna be good.
I got a lot of family there in Vegas, Claudette. I got
I'm
a lot
leaving
of my
Tuesday.
sister.
Send me the list.
Okay, well, no, I'm saying it's a bunch of them, and so like I said, they live out there in Vegas, and so I'd like for you to hook up with them. That'd be nice for you to meet some of my people out there in Vegas.
Okay, and to get away from kids all the time and sick people. Yes, I need some
Yes.
outlets.
Okay, well that'd be good, and I'll tell them about you, and then you'll know about them, and we'll keep it moving.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
I'm
good.
sorry to hear that news about your brother, Claudette.
Yes, I'd hear about your
Safe
brother.
travels to you. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be quite a case, and I'm asking God to give me strength to, because he's so angry now that they've been
I
telling
know.
this, and we can't get basic information out of him. So I got to go out there and just kind of beat him over the head. Okay, give me your directives, your emergency contacts, basic stuff. And he's just
Right.
resisting right now. So
Yeah,
I
that
got to
cancer
go
ain't nothing to
see.
play with. I've been dealing with it a lot in the past. I just lost my best girlfriend in August, so I know exactly she had a cyst on her pancreas, and she had the surgery 2 weeks, and the next 2 weeks she was gone. So I
They told
understand
him
fully what
one
you're
shot, he
saying.
got cancer of the liver. And I heard it's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
fast acting. So
yeah.
I'm going to go
My
see what I
husband
can
had
do.
pancreatic cancer, so I know he went from pancreatic to liver and lung cancer. So I know it's fully what you're going through, and my prayers and thoughts are with you too.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
All right, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your time away.
Tell the family hello for me, Shine.
Okay, Claudette, good seeing you, girlfriend.
Take care.
All right,
Charles,
sweet.
y'all have a
Okay,
good
Peace.
Charles.
day.
All right. All
Bye bye.
blessings to